Kenneth Littlejohn, aka Kenneth Austin, is a convicted armed robber and gold breaker who claimed to be a secret intelligence service and official IRA double agent. The Littlejohn affair concerned allegations of British espionage with the use of agent provocateurs in the Republic of Ireland during the Troubles. Mr. Littlejohn had been dishonorably discharged from the Parachute Regiment. He served 3 years for robbery before being released from prison in 1968, from which time he worked as a car dealer. In 1970, the Midland Motor and Cylinder Company in Smethwick, Birmingham, was robbed of £38,000. The wages clerk, Brian Perks, claimed to have been overpowered by an Indian man who then took the money. Mr. Perks was Mr. Littlejohn's brother-in-law, and the police suspected a staged incident involving the two men. Mr. Littlejohn claims he went on the run, first to London, where he made contact with a police officer who showed him his arrest warrant and advised him to move to Dublin. In December 1970, in Dublin, he set up a company, Whizz Kids Ireland Limited. He then moved to Kalashnikovs, seeking a potential development site for a factory. As a flash potential investor who bought drinks for all the locals in the pubs, he became a well-known man and popular in the area. In Kerry, Mr. Littlejohn claimed he was shown a Kalashnikov, supposedly smuggled in by Russian sailors. Mr. Littlejohn turned down several potential development sites and left unpaid debts when he returned to Dublin. Pamela, Lady Onslow, was an aristocratic divorcee who occupied part of her time with an ex-Borstal organisation, Teamwork Associates, in London. Mr. Littlejohn's brother, Keith, had spent time in the Borstal and was known to Lady Onslow through the organisation. Lady Onslow was made aware of information in Mr. Littlejohn's possession and contacted her friend, Lord Carrington. On the 22nd of November 1971, a meeting was arranged at Miss Onslow's London flat between Mr. Littlejohn and British Minister Geoffrey Johnson Smith. It was at this time that the official wanted status in respect to the Smethwick robbery was downgraded to desired to interview. On the 18th of September 1972, Edmund Wolseley, a 32-year-old Catholic man, was killed in a booby trap attached to his car while his two friends were injured. The car had been stolen a week earlier, and the RUC informed Mr. Wolseley that the car had been found abandoned at the Glass Drummer near Crossmaglum, County Armagh. The bomb exploded as Mr. Wolseley went to retrieve his vehicle. While not a member of the official Irish Republic Army, OIRA, Mr. Wolseley was known to the OIRA and socialised in similar circles, something which Mr. Littlejohn knew. At the time, the OIRA suspected that Mr. Littlejohn had planted the bomb to kill Mr. Wolseley, who he suspected was a member of their organisation. In October 1972, the Allied Irish branch in Grafton Street, Dublin, was robbed of £67,000. At the time, it was the largest haul in Ireland. 3 men had turned up at the home of the manager, who was then driven to the bank while his family was held hostage. A further 3 gang members locked the staff in the vault before escaping with the money. The Ulster Volunteer Force was initially reported as responsible, following comments made by the robbers. The Littlejohn brothers were arrested in London a week following the issuance of an extradition warrant from Dublin. Following instruction from an Attorney General, the extradition proceedings were held in camera on grounds of national security. At the extradition proceedings, the brothers tried but failed to prevent a prosecution by the Special Criminal Court under the Offences Against the State Act of 1939. The Irish Attorney General had given assurances that they would not be charged with political offences under the Act. In March 1974, the brothers escaped from Mountjoy prison. Toothpaste had been used to cover up saw marks in the cream-coloured bars of the cell windows. Having escaped the wing, the brothers got over the wall using planks being used for building work. Mr. Littlejohn escaped from Mountjoy prison in March 1974 and returned to England, where he was harboured in the Birmingham home of Thomas Watt, a future prosecution witness in the Birmingham 6 trial. While on the run, Mr. Littlejohn gave several press interviews and enrolled for touch typing lessons to help him write his memoirs. Mr. Littlejohn was staying with Mr. Watt on the night in November 1974 of the Birmingham pub bombings and made tea when the detectives came to interview Mr. Watt. Mr. Littlejohn was recaptured in his underpants at gunpoint by West Midlands police detectives at Mr. Watt's home on the 11th of December 1974. Mr. Watt himself was arrested later that afternoon, but claimed he was released on Detective Superintendent Pat Cooney's orders, as he could not be prosecuted as Mr. Littlejohn's crime was committed outside the UK. The brothers were released early in 1981 on condition that they leave the Republic of Ireland. The following year, Nottingham Crown Court jailed Mr. Littlejohn for 6 years for his part in a £1,300 armed robbery at the Old Manor House, North Wingfield, Chesterfield, England. However, Keith Littlejohn was cleared of the similar offence.